Hello. If we haven't met, my name is Busola. You're welcome. And if you're always here, thumbs up for you. Thank you for being here again today. Today, we'll continue the discussion about leaving impacts, legacies. If you like what is going on, please show some love, click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is the best time. Don't wait any longer. Click on the subscribe button. It's my special privilege to share with you a discussion I had with a man for whom I have great respect and admiration, who my colleagues and I in the Jolly Phonics world have many names for. Daddy Chris, Papa Chris, Dr. Jolly. At the beginning of my PhD research, trying to find ways to help children in Nigeria, especially in the public schools, read early in life. And Jolly Phonics was one of the resources I considered, and I settled for trying that. So I didn't know the publisher, I didn't know the authors. All I knew were the resources. I grabbed them and went off to do a pilot. At the end of the PhD research, I was convinced that this is a method that would work. And you can imagine when researcher meets publisher. Chris, I'm excited at the opportunity to have this chat with you about Jolly Futures. When I first heard of Jolly Phonics, I thought the word jolly described the method in Jolly Phonics. But would you tell my audience if the word jolly is just an adjective describing the kind of phonics?
Well, I think really on the basis that, yes, if you've got a funny name, you might as well use it. But as you can imagine, I mean, my father was a Dr. Jolly and my grandfather was a Canon Jolly and my great-grandfather was, it goes on. And I asked my authors, what should we call it? And after some while, they came back to me and said, oh, well, we started calling it Jolly Phonics. So I said, oh, well, that sounds good to me. Let's do that.
Would you want to speak more about Jolly Futures?
It became clear with Jolly Phonics that we had a program that was highly effective and that people enjoyed using and that it could make a very substantial difference. So broadly speaking, from the research that was done, children learned to read twice as fast and they all did well.
That's
so
true.
This was very powerful. Yeah.
That's true. That was my experience.
And yet, yes, yeah. Now, yet we were providing to people commercially, and so we reached developed countries and we reached the private schools in developing countries.
When I first met Chris and heard about his offer for government schools in developing countries, I was like, let's see what's in it for him. There must be something. What does he want to get from us? Why is he doing this?
And that we would do it by printing specially for each occasion in large scale, and by using local trainers. And then finally, that we would provide the rights for reprinting for these schools, and we would have nurtured a whole body of trainers and a continually renewing body of trainers in those countries.
Yeah, Chris, that's a huge offer, and I've been a part of your making that offer real in many countries.
And as you say, we've done a lot of traveling in West Africa.
I've done 14 countries of West Africa. You've done everyone. I'm just wondering, Chris, and I'm sure my audience would want to know, what did you go to do in these countries? Did you just go sightseeing just for the love of travels?
Well, I mean, on the one hand, I do enjoy travel and sightseeing. I'm also passionate about the work that we do. I'm passionate about the Jolly Futures work that we do. And I find that by visiting a place, I can not only build the contacts that may be helpful, but it gives me an understanding of the place so that in subsequent discussions and in setting things up, I just have a much better feel and understanding for the place, and therefore, you know, a much better chance to be able to deliver in a way that is makes a difference.
Why are you so helpful? What is in it for you? Obviously, it's a lot of money involved.
As you say, yes, it is. It is very substantial, so the funding of it comes from the commercial work of the company, Jolly Learning, which obviously is my company. But I do it on principally because I find I can make a big difference, and that whole process is simply very rewarding personally. And being able to feel that you've made a difference is, I think, something which we all feel very passionate about. And I've been able to, if I may put it this way, draw on other people's wish to make a difference.
You've helped many people to achieve the dream of helping others. For example, when I started working with children, there was need to provide resources, but I wasn't able to afford that. I couldn't afford that at the time. You helped me to achieve my dream for reaching children in Nigeria, and then it went beyond that to all the other countries. And so I'm grateful. Every time I remember all those years, I'm grateful. And till now, I still feel very much a part of the work, a part of the projects. Like,
I mean, look, you've made and been part of making a massive difference, and particularly so in Nigeria. You did a PhD study there. It was widely disseminated and read, which is a good thing about a study like that. It had influenced people very widely, and it meant that they could see this as something that was very solidly based. And, you know, the effect is that it has and will, you know, make a difference to Nigerian children right across the country. It's just lovely to be engaged in this kind of way. And then looking ahead, we've got a strong willingness to adopt in Eritrea, in Lesotho, and we're on track in places like Rwanda and Uganda and Zambia. And then in the Francophone countries, the thing is progressing as well. So we've been adopted, as you know, for all schools in Djibouti, and in Cote d'Ivoire and in Guinea, which we've done with you, of course, for adoption across the whole country to all schools. And then there's India, where we've had considerable work.
Yeah.
We've also done work in and had adoptions regionally in Pakistan. But if I was to summarize, I mean, in sub-Saharan Africa, we're used in approximately 20% of all state schools across the whole of that area. And in the case of India, in about 5% of all government schools. But with the prospect of it growing very considerably from there. I mean, there is no reason why it shouldn't continue and be much wider still.
That's great. So, it's good to know that. There's planned for much more. Yeah.
And you may know, of course, that I mean, I do have a great empathy with Africa. I mean, my father was a pediatrician in the University of Ibadan in Western Nigeria.
Could
Yes,
I say you are an Ibadan
I like
boy?
it there. Yes. Here I am. My father worked in Ibadan. I have a great uncle who had served in Nigeria, and of course, my son has done a lot of work in Nigeria. So I feel we've got a great affinity with the country.
So once again, I'd like to say thank you.
It's very kind of you to, it's lovely to hear. At the same time, of course, there's only a limit to what I can do. I mean, yes, I've got a program I can provide and that sort of thing, but without people in country, people who can turn that into reality, there's nothing there. So you were massively that essential part of the whole process of taking a resource that we had and enabling it to make such a difference and to win such acceptance. And that is just hugely essential. And so, yes, I mean, all of us involved, it's been a good journey.
All that's left to say is thank you for joining me today, and make the world a better place for the people around you. Thank you, and I'll see you again in my next video. Till then, bye!